This is All Hitches, the Nova Football Podcast.
Yo, tune in, lock in, it's the All Hitches show. Dash and Dan on the mic, let the Nova tales flow. From the booth to the field, we hitch up the truth. All Hitches podcast, drop the beat, here's the proof. Dash and Dan in the cut, bringing heat to the game.
All right, welcome back to All Hitches, Nova's #1 football podcast. Coach Mesa, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm all right. We're thawing out, man. We're thawing out. I mean, we're so close. We talked about today. I'm so close to turning on my faucets outside, being able to turn the water back on, to use my pressure washer, maybe wash the car. I don't know, do something.
I'm telling you right now, I'm giving you permission. Between now and Wednesday, you can go ahead and turn it on, do what you want outside, get some yard work done. You're looking at 80 degrees this week. You're living a good life, bud.
Wash my car like a Judge Reinhold at the beginning of Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yes. Listen to Raised on the Radio.
Raised on the radio.
I got that album.
Do you really?
The Fast Times album.
Oh, okay.
That's a great soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Cameron Crowe.
Yeah.
The man knows music.
Yeah.
The man knows music. Name 3 Cameron Crowe films.
I'm top of my head, I can't think of one right now, man.
Name 1 Cameron Crowe film.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
one other one. This one you should know. We're a football podcast. Wasn't he Jerry Maguire?
Was he Jerry Maguire?
Yeah,
Oh, maybe he was.
I believe he was. You might need to Google this one in real time. I believe he was. Show me the money, Mesa. Show me the money. Let me help you. I don't know why I think it is. Maybe I'm wrong.
All right, let's look it up here.
Survey says.
Oh, wow. How do I not know all these movies? I've seen a lot of movies. Say Anything, Singles, Jerry Maguire, Almost Famous, Vanilla Sky.
This guy's great. And he knows good music.
Movies he wrote but didn't direct, Fast Times and the Wildlife.
Yeah, but I heard Fast Times was based on his high school experience in LA.
So he infiltrated a high school. He re-enrolled as a high school student. Yeah, in like San Diego, I think it was.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So good stuff there.
Now that's called illegal, and you go to jail for that.
You're exactly right. Ain't the 80s anymore.
Although speaking of Fast Times,
we got a lot of. It's been a busy week.
It is the hot stove league of Nova right now.
It's never a slow day, never a boring day in Nova. Where do we start? Well, let's start from. We got all these schools are hiring, and they're hiring at a rapid pace, nonstop. This week,
nobody was hiring. Now everybody's hiring.
Everyone's hiring. So congratulations to Coach Matt Frank at Chantilly.
Was an interim head coach. Now he is the head coach now.
The head coach. He did a great job, Fairfax.
Yeah, absolutely.
Enthusiastic guy from everything we've heard. Kids love him. I think he's going to do a great job at Chantilly.
I think so too.
JMU guy, played at JMU.
Gonna probably be some hard nosed running there at Chantilly.
Yeah, he's a line guy. He's a trenches guy.
Yeah,
I think that's old school Chantilly right there.
Yeah.
So congrats to him. And then we got Centerville.
Keep it in house.
Yes, making the hire. Centerville going with the in-house candidate, Coach Josh Culver.
Mm-hmm.
Right, good
I
hire.
heard he was a favorite coming in from where you stand. Yeah, on-campus guy. Was part of the staff right last year that went on that magical run.
Beloved. We've been told by many he's beloved in the Centerville community.
Yeah, but he paid his dues, right? I'm willing to bet he probably had Coach Shields probably blessing, right? I'm sure he has some input on that. So, yeah.
And when you can use the phrase beloved, whenever you use the phrase beloved, and that's the phrase that was told to us about Coach Culver. Yeah, at that point, every candidate could have been like, wait a minute, the guy going against me is beloved, and I'm out of here. I'm not applying. So good for him. He got the job, and I think he's going to do good things over there at Centerville.
Yeah.
And then, not to be outdone, the third team, Herndon, Coach Adam Shaker.
Yeah, we had heard, last year that he might have been up for a couple of jobs, but he finally landed at Herndon. From what we understand, it could be Mike Martz. They'd be hiring Mike Martz. We understand his offense is explosive. I think it might be an air raid guy.
Complete air raid guy, total air raid guy. The man was close friends with the late great Mike Leach,
Mike Leach. That's right. That's right.
and really he is our good friend Bobby Ludwig now has company in the mad scientist lab
Yeah.
because Coach Shaker loves to kind of kind of make his experiments in that lab, and he knows offense. He can design a passing game, and so the Herndon community they want to throw the ball. They're going to get their wish probably. I'd say.
If you're a receiver or quarterback at Herndon, you ought to be really happy.
Right, right. I mean, you talk about Mike Leach.
Yeah.
He's on Mount Rushmore in collegiate passing offenses. If you did a Rushmore just for a passing game, Leach is on there.
Yeah, very much in the same vein as Mouse Davis and John Jenkins. A lot of those guys.
The old Chargers coach,
Don Coryell.
Don Coryell. Thank you. I mean, like in that vein, right? Maybe he never won a national championship. Maybe Coryell never won a Super Bowl, but geniuses.
Yeah.
Right. So good stuff there. Adam Shaker and Herndon. Am I missing one?
Well, so we have two more hires that we have one that we cannot announce. We have heard that Wakefield may have hired, but we're not going to make that announcement until they make that announcement.
Respect.
And finally, they have a principal place over at Hayfield.
Yeah.
And so my understanding was that the principal did not want to have the head coach hired until he was hired. And so now he's finally in place. And so, we'll see. Yeah.
So Wakefield, like you said, actually at the time of this, some people watch this show on this Monday. Wakefield could have a new head coach.
Could
Monday
be.
or Tuesday. They'll have a new head coach. We're not going to get into that till afterwards.
They're probably watching on Sunday. Probably they have not.
Right. But anyone who watches it on Monday and Tuesday, they're going to be like, "Hey, we got the coach now." Yeah. So, congrats to the Wakefield community on what could be a new coach. And Hayfield, and then there was one, Mesa.
Yeah.
And I know the principal in place and all that kind of stuff, but I hope Hayfield can just narrow this down soon and kind of get it done, and then there will be no more. That's it. All the vacancies in Nova are filled, my man.
As of right now.
You still think? Let me ask you. Do you think there will be one more?
I mean, if I was putting money on it, I wouldn't put a large amount of money on it, but I'd take a flyer on it.
Wow.
Because people move. I mean, teachers in particular, right?
Right. That's true.
Right. There's about time of year where all of a sudden, something else pops up somewhere because in about a week or so, people are going to start posting their positions at other schools. So,
Right. Yeah, that's true. Could be surprised.
It's paying out well. It's paying out well, but
yeah.
if you're on FanDuel and they give you $1,000, you're like, I'll put $1 on it.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't want to be an AD in that situation, right? I mean, it's tough to find these young. I mean, we're really getting to April, then May, and it's hard enough to find coaches. And then as an AD, you're trying to find the next, great coach and candidate for your school. That's a tough thing to find.
And I've learned, and you
forget about building staff. That's even more impossible.
You are a native Nova guy. A lot of them are married to people who have jobs that don't always stay here, right?
Right, that's true.
Right, I mean, it happens, right? I mean, they get transferred, and it could be somewhere close, right? They could have to go to Maryland. They could have to go to, Southern Virginia. They could have to go to, somewhere else, Delaware. Who knows?
Delaware, right? Well, speaking of, being hard to find great young coaches nowadays, right? Which we know it is. We got a dandy for everyone tonight, don't we?
Yeah, we called an audible. We came out last show and we called the play, but we watched the line of scrimmage. We saw the blitz coming, right?
We saw the blitz coming.
So we had to call an audible.
We have quite the guest for everyone today. Young, enthusiastic, going into his second year at CG Woodson High School, Coach Joe McBride.
Yeah. Full disclosure, we know him pretty well.
We do know. We know him really well.
Yeah, we do know him really well. Although I don't know, does anyone know Joe really well? It's kind of an enigma.
Joe is, as I think Coach Hicks said, he's the world's oldest 30-year-old.
30. I don't even think he's 30 yet.
No, or this 50-year-old, as Coach Hicks said.
Yeah, Joe's great. Coming from Yorktown guy, Yorktown born and raised, and was hired last year at Woodson. Kind of the surprise hire on the last year's cycle. The young guy, the young hot shot from out of town, like a young Axel Foley, Beverly Hills Cop, a hot shot from out of town. And I'll tell you what, I've got to know, right? Like you said, in full disclosure, Joe and I share an office together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we do a lot of movie lines together, him and I. The man knows movies, Mason.
He does know movies. He does know a big Sopranos fan.
Big Sopranos fan.
Sopranos fan.
He had me at hello. He had me at hello. Big Sopranos fan, big Breakfast Club guy. I mean, Mason. It's almost like someone said, I'm going to put Dash and this guy in the same office, like some genius. Right? Let's put the guy who likes Goodfellas and Breakfast Club and Sopranos and Seinfeld lines, and he put us in the same freaking office.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, no. And the kids, he's done a great job at Woodson, kind of trying to rebuild a program that is, kind of been struggling. And we've seen it. I mean, the enthusiasm is there in the building, right?
Yeah.
So I think people are going to kind of, and an interesting journey, right? To go, he's taking a local guy, Yorktown, and how he got to Woodson and where he's going. So let's do it. Let's get to it. You want to get to it?
Yes.
All right, well, let's get to it, buddy. He's waiting for us right now. Let's get to it. All right. Without further ado, Coach Joe McBride, CG Woodson. Here we are. We got Coach Joe McBride from the Woodson Cavaliers, the CG Woodson Cavaliers. Welcome aboard, sir.
How's it going, fellas? Nice of you to have me.
So is it Joe or is it Soft J? I'm not sure. Is it
Just Joe. Joseph, if I'm in real trouble, it's Joseph, but Joe is just, that's the name.
So a full discretion, transparency, all that kind of stuff, all the synonyms that I could think of for that word, and I can only think of two. Joe and I share an office together, and it's the meeting of the minds in there. Mesa kind of shares an office with us because Mesa's in there a lot too. So this is just an extension. We should be getting paid for this, guys.
Well, I think also it might be the place where more 80s movies are quoted within the 7-minute span between classes. I think we hold the record in that for sure.
I thought you were going to say it's the place to be.
It is a place to be.
It
is a place to be. So what is your
place to be?
Place to be.
What is your favorite 80s movie? If you had to give us a top 3 or top.
Man. My favorite movie ever, because my whole, like, my mom's side of the family, we can all quote it. So we pick a character and then we quote the whole movie when we're sitting down together. Grease is like, I know every line, every character, all that stuff.
Wow.
Then I would say Caddyshack's up there because that's one of my dad's favorites.
Classic. Joe's an old soul, Mason.
Yeah. What is the third one? There's so many.
You got the poster in your office.
I do, because I want that to be my third, but I feel like that's so
I expected more from a varsity.
It's Breakfast Club. That one, Grease and Breakfast Club, I can quote, and Caddyshack, I'm getting close. I can do all Bill Murray's lines, but Caddyshack and Grease are the two that I can like.
What's the quote? There's a line about, and I forgot who said it, but there's a Joe quote. And what was it? He's the youngest 50-year-old we've ever met.
Oh,
yeah. We have heard that Joe's the youngest 50-year-old we ever met.
Yeah, he's the youngest 50-year-old.
And in a good way.
For a while. I also have people like because play music and stuff in the gym, and we have some of the ASL interpreters that are in our classes, and it's everything from like the modern stuff to then like I had Ronnie Millsap on there one time. And the ASL interpreter goes, she's like, "How do you know that?" I was like, "Listen, Bruce Springsteen and Frank Sinatra were played in my house all the time. That's why that's who I grew up listening to." So
yeah, she should have been in there in December. She would have heard Andy Williams.
Absolutely.
Well, it had been a long time since I've seen Breakfast Club. It had been a long time since I've seen it. And I remember it might have been during COVID. It came on like HBO or something like that. I started watching it, and then it gets a part where they're sitting in a circle, and I was like, man, this movie gets dark fast.
Oh yeah, it's crazy how quick it is. Well, also that's the beauty of it though. Like that, like I'm kind of a movie, like a movie,
cinephile.
Yeah, that's the word. I was like, what is the word? Um, that seems cool because it's like, and then the letter at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of culminates like, and also like it's still true today. Like that exists. Like you can plug that into any
Oh,
high
sure.
school or any setting, any school really in general, and that stuff will come out. Like you've got people that are labeled a certain way, and then you really get to know them.
Yeah.
You know, you figure out who they are, and people change.
Yeah.
You know what
Well, I
I
mean,
mean? People change.
to quote, Breakfast Club here, I want to see how tough you really are. I want to know right now. The audience wants to know, Joe, and they want to know your story. They want to know the McBride experience. So give it to us, buddy. I know working with you now for what? Feels like we've been together 10 years, but it's only been like 5
4 or
months.
5 months.
But in those 5 months, obviously I know a lot about you. But talk to the people, man. Let them know, the Joe experience, playing at Yorktown and then coming
Mhm.
all the way up to where we are now. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, so grew up in Arlington. My parents met at Swanson Middle School. They were both teachers. So my sixth grade experience was my first day in middle school in sixth grade. Miss Hartman, who my mom was special ed teacher, so she would push into different classes. And Miss Hartman taught sixth grade math. She was great. She was the best teacher I ever had. The first day of middle school, sixth grade, coming from Science Focus, where it isn't like the usual feeder for Swanson. So I don't really know anybody. I'm kind of nervous. She's going down the roll and she goes, McBride. She goes, "Oh, I know you." My mom was pregnant with me when she was at school. She goes, "I've known you since you were in the womb." I was like, what a great way to start sixth grade. But get to Yorktown and
You're
same thing
Mr.
happened.
Arlington, Joe. You're Mr.
Hmm?
Arlington. You're Mr. Arlington.
I don't know about that. That might be my dad. But um so I get to Yorktown after surviving middle school, and first day of freshman practice, Coach Rich Avila is our head coach, who's one of the assistant basketball coaches over at Woodson now. So it's cool catching up with him. He's going down the list of roles, and Hanson's walking by, has no idea who I am, and he says, gets McBride, and he goes, "McBride," and he stops dead in his tracks. And I'm like sitting in the stands thinking I'm in trouble. Like, oh no, like would I? He goes, "Stand up." I was like, oh, like stood up. He goes, "What's your dad's name?" I said, "David. He played for you in 1986. He goes, "Oh my God." He goes, "I'm coaching sons now." So Bruce's first year at Yorktown was my dad's senior year. So my dad and myself are Bruce's first like father son that he ever coached.
Oh, yeah.
And now he's up to like, until he retired last year, I think he has like 4 or 5. So played at Yorktown for 4 years, got to be part of the 2 regional runner-up teams. And 2011 I was a freshman, but 2012 dressed for varsity, didn't play, but dressed for varsity 2012. So got to watch Jonathan Allen when he was in high school. That was a different beast I've ever seen. 2013 we scrimmaged Woodbridge, who had Deshaun Hand. I think he was committed to Bama at the time too. That was like, ooh. So I grew up, playing high school football, knowing that there's a lot of talent in Northern Virginia. So played 4 years at Yorktown. Then I went to Randolph Macon, played for Coach Pedro Aruza, who's still there currently. Loved my experience there. Played quarterback, and then graduated from Macon, looking for, I want to go to a program with really good football and a school that can get my teaching degree in 4 years because I knew I wanted to be a teacher. So I went to Macon, graduated from there. Went back to Arlington, started working in the middle school as an instructional assistant because there was no openings for social studies at the time. And then got on to the staff at Yorktown as an assistant freshman coach. All the coaches help out on Fridays, but you gotta go through the ranks at Yorktown. You gotta work freshman, then work your way up. And then was on the staff for about 6 years. Was the head freshman coach for 3 years, and the Bruce Hampson dubbed varsity pass game coordinator. Which for Bruce, it was, he looked at me on 3rd and 7. He'd be like, "What do you want to run here?" I'm like, okay, like we'll come up with something. And then Woodson opened up. I had at Yorktown we played them 2 years. Yorktown, I played them 2 years straight, so I got to see them and see them as a program, and always felt like they were they've pretty good size, and they're a pretty decent team for playing in a really tough district. So I had some experience going in with that, and then
Did you ever play against Woodson, Joe?
No, so oh my God, only in basketball when they had Eric Bowles and in the regional championship or regional quarterfinal, because Yorktown at that time wasn't not as good as they are now at basketball. Coach Conley's doing a great job over at Yorktown. Um, the refs at the center of the court, I was like, this is when I knew we were in trouble. They're like, all right, guys, shake hands. And he goes, all right. And the head ref goes, all right, Eric, I mean, you know the rules. I was like, he knows him by his first name. Like we're in trouble. And then Eric, I think, goes for like 25 and we get rolled by like 30. So, but no, I didn't really have any experience with Woodson before that up to watching their team. And then, interviewed with, Blair Smith, who's the director of student activities at the time. He's now over at Skyline. And, didn't think I was going to get the job. Had no shot that I thought I was going to get it, but they took a chance, and I'm rolling with it now. And I've had a really good experience so far. I'm really glad.
Shout out Blair Smith, by the way. Shout out Blair.
Shout out Blair Smith.
I could be coming on the show very soon.
So he's a guy that I think, I'm happy I got to interview with him, because he's somebody that I feel like, if he trusts you and he feels like you can do your job, he's going to do whatever he can to help you out. So having that support going in as a younger coach and like taking in a different role was huge for me. So I really appreciate him. And I have to say this too. I know that, he might not listen to the show or whatever, but
he's a huge listener.
Huge.
Blair, we know you're a fan. All right.
Yeah. Well, also I was saying Mike Crufeld too over at Yorktown. So like he was the director of student activities there, and I know that, he was probably a call that Blair got, and I know that without his endorsement of saying like, hey, you got to take a chance on this guy, I know that I wouldn't be in the spot too. So I want to take some time to thank Mike Crufeld as well for giving me that confidence to go and take the job.
I was able to have an email exchange with Crufeld a little while back, and we kind of bonded over John Blevins.
Mm-hmm.
John Blevins taught Crufeld everything he knows about basketball.
Everything he knows about basketball. I bet if you ask John, he's probably coached 90% of the kids and adults, I think, in the area. So
that's fantastic.
He knows everybody. He's never met a stranger.
So I had a question because you are the cliche of the teacher's kid who becomes a teacher. Did you know you want to do that? Because I mean, you always hear that, right? You always hear like teachers' kids always have to become a teacher. Do you know what that's?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I knew it probably in middle school. So when I was really young, and I grew up with both my parents teachers. So in the summertime, I had my whole family with me. It was great. Like we get to we would go on vacations, do all this stuff. It was a lot of fun. But I remember when I really wanted to be a teacher, my dad took me to take your son to work day when they used to do that as teachers, and he was a 7th grade English teacher. So and at Swanson at the time was middle of Arlington, which it still is. It's still kind of diverse. You got your north side kids, your south side kids. So I got to really experience what my dad did on a daily basis. And I had I don't know what he was teaching. Whatever, I was too young to know that, but I felt what I was experiencing was I felt like the presence that he gave in the room. And he's me and Dash talk about this all the time. Like my dad grew up watching Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan.
Told you, Mason. The man gives a hell of a promo.
So he was given teaching as a performance. And so the kids that when I was watching them would always feel like they were leaving, feeling a lot better. And so that's what I wanted. And I wanted to have that same impact that my dad had. My mom does with, elementary school. And when I was in college, I'd go back and help her out on winter break and stuff like that and work in her small groups. And that was really fun to experience. So I knew that from this get-go, because I just want to make an impact. I want to make somebody feel like, when they experience something with me, then they grow and they get better and they enjoy their time while they're with me. And I thought teaching was the best way to do that. And I'm also, if you ask my wife, I'm the worst salesman, businessman, I think, on the planet. So I try to be nice to everybody. So,
and Joe, actually, I was able to see one of his dad's, I think it was a dance or something. I don't remember what it was. He showed me. It was an Instagram reel of his dad talking to the kids at the school. And he was straight up, I mean, going Hercules Hernandez in the just giving a promo on it. It was great.
Every
You better
once in a
come to
while,
the dance tonight, brother.
he sends me the Macho Man Randy Savage cream rises to the top where he just does this. And like Greg Graham all the time. He sends me those. It's like,
Oh, that's great. We got to have your dad on sometime, talk wrestling.
he'd love it. He's the man.
So Joe, you get the Woodson job. Now let's rewind just a little bit. Talking about when you're applying, and because Mason and I talk about this, and we talk about this a lot in the office. It's a tough place, and and I don't mean tough. I mean to start coaching, it's tough. You're in the Patriot, right? And Woodson's had some really good years, and they've had some down years. A lot of times, some coaches will see it as a stepping stone job, as a first gig, as a first premier six gig, right?
Sure.
And I mean, you look at guys who've come through Woodson, right? Coach Pannoni, Coach Doc. I mean, you want to be a Hall of Fame coach, it's almost like you come to Woodson first, right?
Sure.
Did you kind of grapple with that and kind of like talk to Coach Hansen and all right, do I do this? Do I not do this? What do you guys think? Do I wait for an Arlington job to pop up? What was the thought process before you applied?
Well, I think a lot of it was really an opportunity to be a head coach, and the more that I really thought about it, it was less about it being like a stepping stone to something to another job, and more about like what football did for me personally, not like playing accolades, all that kind of stuff. Because I played in high school, played a little bit in college, and was on some really good teams at Macon and at Yorktown. But like what it did for me more than anything is that it made me a much better person, and that was through playing at Yorktown and through playing at Macon. And I think what I found was that while could I have stayed at Yorktown and done the same thing I did over there? Sure. And that place is, it's like a second home to me. I grew up going to those games, and, I know a lot of the teachers that are in the building still. Some of those teachers, some of the people that I worked with those past 6 years taught me before. So going from calling them Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so to their first name was really difficult. But anyway, when I was applying for the job, I was like, all right, this is a place that I feel like really hasn't had the chance to be what it could be, like truly. And these kids deserve a chance to see what the game of football can do for them in the most positive way. And that's really what the goal was. Now, do you look at the record and all that stuff when you're considering it? Of course you do. You go back and you look through all different things. And one of the years that I looked at was 2018, where it was, Christian Yost, Isaiah Barnes, and all those kids. And like, I thought that team in 2018 really was, to me, and again, I've only been in this for about 6 years, but that was one of the most complete football teams I've ever seen that didn't have a big time player. So like when I was at Yorktown, we had MJ Stewart, who was the best player in that I've ever seen, and he's in the NFL now, still playing on Sundays consistently. When I was at Yorktown in 19, we had Grant Wilson, who was just won a national championship with Indiana, Max Patterson, who went to Delaware, John Pius, who went to William Mary. So, but if you look at that Woodson team in 18, they were just a collective group of kids that were just dedicated to playing really well, and they had a magical season. So that really was what I was looking at, and the success of other sports as well. So that's really what intrigued me for the job. But ultimately, more than anything, because now that I have some time to kind of reflect about it and think about it, it really is giving the gift of this game to people that may not have had the full experience of what it can do for them. And, we're trying to build that as we're here at Woodson. And I thought last year, despite the record, we took a huge step in that mission, that goal for the program.
So yeah, I mean, the record notwithstanding, I mean, you could technically say you're probably 4 plays away from being 4-6. I mean, 4 plays away. So what are some things that you felt like you kind of brought to the table coming in from the outside, right? Coming from fresh eyes. What are some things that you think kind of helped kind of start turn the boat a little, right? I mean, boats don't turn like a car, right? You got to
Sure.
kind of, so that's what you're kind of doing right now. What are some things that you did that you felt really kind of got you to, at the very least, you're competitive in games? I mean, you guys are only down a score to Braddock at the half.
It was a score to Fairfax was 2-point game. It's middle of third.
Yeah. So what are some things that you thought you brought in that you started doing that kind of helped starting to change the culture around a little bit?
Well, I think one of the first things we did was once I got the staff and everything together of people that, as a collective group also knew what they were getting into. They understood that this is what we're coming from. And we had guys that were brand new to coaching, 2 coaches that were coming from, Langley, where it was a very successful program in recent years. coaches from different areas in the Patriot who've experienced it, but they all knew what they were getting into. And I was upfront and honest with them when I was like trying to get these guys on staff. It's like, look, we're dealing with a pretty serious bell curve from what we have. Not from a lack of talent. It was the kids didn't really enjoy playing football. And so what I really focused on was, one of the things that you look at when someone who is struggling with anything, the first thing you have to do is you have to work on their self-esteem. When a player or someone is not doing very well, they start to resent the thing that they've enjoyed doing, because that's the core of it. That's where all their happiness really came from. And so what we try to do is we try to be like, look, the number one thing is we have to build their self-esteem. That doesn't mean that we're like, saying good try if they're really messing up on a rep. That's not what we're saying here. It's not soft. But you've got to get these kids to believe that they can compete. That's the whole mission. And that really was the goal going into this year was, a lot of these teams that you're playing the Patriot, correct me if I'm wrong, you're going to get probably a regional champion out of that district that's playing deep into the year with coaches that are established for quite some time. What we had was a brand new coaching staff, a brand new head coach who had never been in a role like this before, taking on something like this. So if your sole focus is on winning games quickly, it would have been a difficult job for anybody. The goal this year was, let's build their self-esteem. Let's make them believe that they can compete. And I think that's what we did a really good job of this year. We're 9 points from being 4-6. We're 9 total points.
4-6 gets you in the playoffs.
And listen, and again, you are what your record says you are. I'm not trying to be, that coach. It's like, well, if not, but it was build their self-esteem, give them a sense of accountability and discipline. So one of the best ones was we get lightninged out, right? It's like lightning bolt, like 30 minutes. It's getting to 2 hours before we get on the field, and all the kids like, we can go home, right? Like, no, we're still here. Like you're gonna, like, we can lift, we can watch film, we can do some stuff in the main gym, like we can whatever. And they found that there's a process and there's a way that you can do things at a high level that requires discipline, accountability, and making sure everybody's buying in and doing, looking towards the same mission and the same goal. And that's really what the focus was. On top of putting in a brand new offense, putting in a brand new defense, teaching them special teams. But again, the goal really was, our job is to make this the best experience for our kids. That's the job of any high school coach. You make this the best experience for your players. And the number one thing that they have to do is they have to enjoy it. And you can still make it hard. You can make it difficult. That's part of what makes it fun, is you achieve something that's really difficult together as a group. But if you don't build up their self-esteem and make them feel like they're confident players and confident people that can compete with anybody, that's a super uphill battle you're gonna have to fight daily, practice, games, where in the school, wherever.
But so I look at, if you look at some of your predecessors, right, who've been there, and Mason and I have been looking at this stuff kind of throughout the day. People will say Doc had a relative successful, tenure at Woodson, short tenure, but in most games, Doc, and we love Coach Doc, and Coach Doc is doing great things, obviously, at Braddock, and 5 wins.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about Woodson, if you could just, and you and I were talking about this today,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that's one of the upsides of certain schools is, you go in there, you win 4 games, 5 games, 6 games at Woodson, and now you're making football kind of, they're a competitive team. Kids are having fun, like you said. They care about it. Parents are enjoying what's going on. School gets behind it. That's success, man.
Yeah.
You don't need to win a state title. A state title doesn't need to be success.
100%. Well, again, I think that also, success is dependent on the definition of what you deem as successful. Right. So a lot of coaches will look at the record and be like, that was a successful season. Sure. I don't disagree with that at all. But, it's hanging in my office actually back here. I got a letter from the seniors at the senior banquet. And despite what the record was, most of them were saying this is the best season that they ever had.
That's what I'm saying. 100%.
Exactly. And it was all and the whole point of it was again, the goal that I have because of what the game did for me, it's made me a better person. It made me a better partner. It's made me a better teacher. It's made me a better friend, sibling, future parent, whatever. that's the goal of what you're trying. That's my goal within my program. When I say that I want this to be like, Coach Ruse will talk about all the time at Randolph Macon, which is Ashland, Virginia. If you blink, you miss it. His mission is to make it the best place in the country to play college football. And he has it on the wall,
Right.
like wherever you go. This is the best place, right? This is the place to be, right? Like that's my goal, is that I want this to be something that can transform the lives of these kids that play this sport. And regardless if they go and play in college or anything like that, that's fine. But when they come back, whether they're in college or out of college or wherever, and they said, what you taught me in your football program has improved my value of life tremendously, I view that as a success. Do I want to win games? Do I want to be competitive? Absolutely. But I think at the end of the day, when we're all, a little bit older and the records maybe don't mean as much, you're never going to remember how many games you won. You're going to remember how you made people feel. And so that's really, the vision that I have, and the daily reminder I have to tell myself is that, you want this to be the most positive experience for the kids as best you can.
Well, and there's levels to stuff, right? That we always talk about. There's levels to things. I mean, I understand that, a successful season obviously is, for a lot of coaches, is winning the region, being in the state tournament. We all know that, but we had Coach Denny on, a couple of weeks ago, and success, again, there's levels, right? Success, as he rebuilds that program at Freedom, success doesn't mean going to the state tournament.
No.
Right? I mean, it's just, again, levels. And just what we've seen, that letter sums it up, right? The kid saying, hey, it's the best, whatever, it's the best season I ever had, or best time I've had playing football, whatever it was that he said. That tells you a lot right there, bud.
For sure.
So, getting to the season, like, who are some bright spots? I mean, who are some kids that really, whether they're graduating seniors this year or kids that played a few this year, who are some kids that you thought really kind of stood out to you this year that really made some gains or kind of bought in the program? I mean, some kids you want to highlight?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think I just want to take a minute for that. For that whole senior class, really. I mean, I think a lot of coaches, when they're taking on a new role, I think some of the things that you hear is that, well, you only have the seniors for 3 months. Well, that is my counter to that, is that's the group that some of them have been pouring their heart and soul into the program for 4 years. So you don't want to just leave them high and dry. And, coming in where, I get the job in February of 25, I'm still working at Yorktown, driving from Yorktown to quickly make it to the tail end of a workout, which thankfully I had, guys like you and, young Blevins, Jack Blevins kind of help us out running those workouts. The seniors were there, they were into it and all that stuff. And that carried on throughout the season. Any of them could have a lot of them had, any excuse not to play. Dash, you and I talk about this all the time. A lot of those kids had to be like, you know what? We're not winning a whole lot of games. I don't really enjoy it that much. I am a senior. Maybe I play another sport. I'm just going to go and, do these other things. So, a couple of the guys that I want to point out, I mean, the first one, just because, this isn't in any order. Roman Braswell coming back from not playing, he stopped playing in the middle of his junior year because it wasn't going very well. Has any excuse not to play. I think he committed, Dash, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he committed to Mary Washington before football season even started.
Yeah, so, I think this summer, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so he had, if any excuse, dude, just wait till, go ball out your senior year of spring lacrosse and just play. He came back and he was like, all right, I want to finish this out with my guys. I want this to be something so I'm proud of him for that. Bryce Golchi was a really good player for us at running back. Probably I wrote all of them senior letters at the end, and he's probably one of the most competitive kids I've ever met that really drives the attitude of the team. And Bryce made great strides into being the competitor that guys want to play for. Bryce wasn't, intimidating because people were afraid of him. Bryce was intimidating and a good leader because people didn't want to let him down because they saw how hard he played. Jem Sandino, who I think is, again, one of the most misunderstood kids I think I've been around and been a part of. He works really hard. He's not the most vocal. He works hard. He had to play both ways for us. There were days where, he competed in some games where, hey, my shoulder's kind of messed up. I can't extend that hard on a catch, but I can lock a guy out on defensive end if you need me to. there's a whole
lacrosse player, now,
and
by the
lacrosse
way.
player. Yeah. Don't worry, Dash. I got you. I'm coming from Yorktown, dude. Listen, I've watched Nate Randall's, Hudson Green. Me and Kogan sometimes bond over some lacrosse in Nova too. So don't worry about that. Sam Walrath, another really good player who, again, also with, he had a medical thing where maybe, like Sam, you're like one hit away from, not your shoulder, like you had pre-serious shoulder surgery, all that stuff. And, I could go on and on. I'll give three more because I think them as a group was so key to have. And I really wanted to make sure that I talk about them also is Cam Craig, John Burns, and Seva Trevko. Like those three kids, were from freshman to senior, really, put the effort in and, showed up on a daily basis, never complained. They were at every single workout, really dedicated their time to it. And, we're just ultimate team guys.
You need those program guys, man.
Successful. Yeah, you need those program guys for sure. Yeah. And Cam, especially, committing to Junietta, which is awesome. And, Jem is still working out some things and we'll see where things go from there. But, again, I would go on and on about this whole senior class, and I can name things about Braden West, Dexter Tetriol, all these kids, Yusuf Kadir, Alex Kale, all these kids. This was, if there was ever a senior class to take on this specific job, not any job, this specific job, I'm glad it was this one because they had the ultimate level of buy-in for such a short period of time. And I really couldn't have laid the foundation. And I told them that when at senior night, when we had them, all the kids lined up, all the underclassmen lined up, and the seniors go around and they dab each guy up, and every younger guy tells them how much they mean to them and everything else. And I told them, I was like, as you guys go through the line of the underclassmen, you will see the impact you have on them. You guys are all bawling your eyes out. You're gonna make some of them cry too. Like that's the impact that you guys have had on this whole thing. And without this group, without this class of 2026, I don't think that the program would be where it is culture-wise without them. So all of them, all of those seniors, I want to thank. I get here, I thank them when I'm in school and I see them, they were essential for what this year was.
And I think it says a lot also about you and the staff that they felt that way. The players felt that way because let's be honest, normally when a new coach comes in, it's not under the Coach Hansen circumstances where he just did the farewell tour, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar tour on his way after 40 years or whatever, right? Normally it's not great circumstances. Someone got fired, right? Something happened. New guy comes in. Seniors are like, oh, great, we're going to be left for dead on the side of the road. Wonderful. So, and that's a common thing, right? Mm-hmm. So the way they, that speaks a lot about, all you guys and showing them that, right? That they felt that way afterwards.
Absolutely.
Now the young bucks coming up, because I know, we talk a lot and we got some guys coming up now. We're not going to give away too much. We don't want to give too much intel.
I think, we played a lot of underclassmen during the season. I think, there's about four of them that I want to really highlight specifically. And it's two of the rising seniors. Of Anthony Michael was our left tackle. Probably one of the more athletic kids I've seen at the position. A really willing blocker, gifted pass blocker as well. Just raw athleticism is really good. He's got a little bit of like a toughness to him also playing down there. And Hayden Green is an exceptional talent at tight end. And I think that, it was tough trying to get him the ball a little bit last year on the offensive side because you have Jem and, it's a new offense trying to get, certain guys touches and everything else. But Hayden never complained, willing blocker. He can down block as good as anybody that I've seen. Also had to play some defense for us, has an instinctive nose for the football. So I'm really happy about those two coming up. And then we've got, Caleb Dennis, who's a rising junior, who I think is one of the better offensive linemen in the district. As a sophomore.
You got Carl Frederick, the Adam Schefter Nova is drooling right now as you're saying these guys. Because I know for a fact that Carl saw some of these guys at the event a couple of weeks ago, and he was loving some of those guys.
Yeah, and I think even some of the coaches when I would talk to them on the sideline were like, "You guys got some size." I was like, "Yeah," and imagine if they knew if having a year or two in the system will kind of help them out. So Caleb Dennis really excited about. Noah Hadapoglu was a kid that, we were originally trying to think about just honestly trying to find excuses for him to play JV, but he kept rising his ranks in the depth chart. And, we tell the kids all the time, forced us to make a difficult decision. And Noah was a difficult decision in terms of like, how can we not play him? Like we have to play him in a certain spot. Yeah. Running back, receiver, played a little bit of safety for us, returned some punts, returned to kickoff for a touchdown against West Springfield, took one against SoCo for about 85, 90 yards. So he's an explosive athlete and good kid. And Emmett Murphy, one of our receivers, is a really good player. And what I'm proud of this group coming up is that all the kids I've mentioned so far, and there's plenty of others I could, Noah Hadapoglu, Caleb Dennis, Anthony Michael, and Hayden Green did not miss a day in the weight room so far since January. So there's a dedication that the group has that they want to be as good as they can be. And I think that now that they sort of seeing where the culture is and how things are shifting around, we're getting pretty good buy-in from those guys. So I'm excited for them in particular. And there's other guys that I'll miss, and I know I want to be respectful of your guys' time, but I'm excited for what we have coming up for sure. Ari Hurd also at linebacker is going to be a big player for us also.
Don't forget about Ari. Good. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys got planned for the offseason? I mean, are you guys going to camps? What do you guys? I'm sure you don't have it all put together yet, but what are some things that you got?
Yeah, so I think we're lifting 3 times a week. Right now we're in the red week, so I'm giving the kids a little bit 2 weeks off. But we lift 3 times a week. We'll be going to a couple of 7-on-7 leagues that some of the coaches have been posted up, which has been great. Trying to also maybe head down to at least 1 or maybe 2 colleges for 7-on-7, just because that's what I did at Yorktown. It was just like kind of a cool experience. The kids get to see campus. They get to, also like you get to see talent from other areas. You're not playing the same, kids kind of over and over again, which, I grew up at Yorktown where we had 7-on-7 over by Lewis would have a 7-on-7, on the weekends, just like you get 3 or 4 games. No one's like keeping track of like tournaments or whatever. And then we would go to Maryland or William and Mary and play. And
so you got so many. I mean, you got like you said, you got Maryland, William and Mary.
Oh, yeah.
Locally, I'm just saying, you got Georgetown, you got Catholic.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like, try not to make it something where like the kids can experience something that's not just outside of Fairfax City.
Right.
I think that's that's huge and really important. So, it also gives you a chance to kind of see some different talent. Like I remember we were at Maryland, not this past offseason, but the offseason before at Yorktown, Drew Morgan going into his senior year, and there's a travel team from North Carolina, and I look across and I see the 3 coaches. It was Clinton Portis, Ryan Fletcher, and Antoine Bethea. And all the Yorktown kids looked at me. I was like, boys, like you want comp? This is some comp. And we took them down the last play. I mean, they had some, I think they ended up winning the whole thing, but it was like, ooh, like these are kids we would not be seeing in North Arlington, that's for sure. Yeah.
I always think those college camps are always good too, to get the kids an idea of like, especially when you go to big ones, right? If you go to Maryland, you go to big ones, you're like, okay, I know you're a good football player, but you're about to see like a guy walks in the field and the kids go, "Is that a coach?" You're like, no, that's a junior.
Or also like the kids can kind of track like the coaches following which player. Like I experienced that at Yorktown when we had MJ went to Maryland. A Maryland coach was at every one of our games talking to MJ afterwards. Like that's and also like. But again, like beyond that, it gives you a chance, like just get the exposure. Like that's really what it is. It's like you get to go see a place that you wouldn't just drive up there on the weekend randomly to go watch this thing. It just gives you another opportunity. You know what I mean? That's what we have planned right now. I think we'll try and get some other stuff done here once spring sports get rolling a little bit too. But yeah, just trying to find as many opportunities as we can for our kids to get better and also to again. Enjoy it, like enjoy the process. Like you won't get another chance to go and how many times you get to go to a place like William Mary or Maryland or any of those places to go play. Like those are memories that I have I'm super fond of as a high school player, just because not only was it enjoyable, but it was to play, but it was cool. Like I met kids from from like Seneca Valley, or we played good counsel when I was there, and we played in the stadium, which was really sick, but we ended up losing because it was good counsel. But it was just a cool experience for our kids to go meet other kids and like see other parts of the area and go and experience it. So we'll finalize that as we go through, but that's just little bit of what we got so far.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe a little surprise to announce later. You never know, right? You never know.
Yeah, may never know.
We never know. We always keep things kind of, we just never know,
You never
buddy.
know.
Um,
Once we know, we'll let you know.
yeah, that's right. Now, being an Arlington kid, right?
Sure.
Growing up in Arlington, there
Mhm.
are some things that are done differently, right? And then I guess you're kind of experiencing that now. The biggest thing probably, and I'll let you kind of elaborate on it some more, but it's probably the middle school thing, right? Because
Yeah.
now, unless you're in a secondary school, they
Mhm.
have a big advantage.
Yeah, I think one of the
You
things
got to find a way, right, to go to the middle school and do all that stuff.
yeah, that's I think one of the biggest shifts so far for me is trying to like middle school outreach beyond just like when we had it when we at Yorktown when we had freshman football tryouts. There was one year where I had 70 kids total come out for tryouts.
Man.
25 of them were eighth graders. So there is, and those eighth graders also. I was coaching basketball over at Yorktown too with Joe Reed originally was the one that hired me, and then kind of graciously kept me on staff and kept me as the freshman coach. Middle school basketball. So I would go and like the game I always had circled before Dorothy Ham opened up was Williamsburg Swanson. Going and watching and being like taking a quick little picture of the scorebook and being like asking different people like does he go like he's probably gonna go to W. I was like all right okay he's probably gonna wait for okay like trying to figure that out. So but one of the things that I tried to do going into even this off season was I was like all right I need what event is there that I can go and watch and like kind of see how things are done. And the middle school track meet, we had those
Right.
like at least 13 or half the middle schools in Fairfax County were at Woodson doing a track meet. So some of those freshmen that we had this year were running in that meet, and I got a chance to like talk to them afterwards and see how they were. I was also flipping burgers for about 8 hours, which was nice, a little fundraising kickback, which was helpful, and get out to the community. But no, it was essential for me to and the rest of the staff also to go to those events because, that middle school outreach for a school like Woodson is essential. It's not like Yorktown where you can, or any Arlington school where eighth graders can come play. If the school 9 times out of 10 doesn't offer, if the middle school doesn't offer the sport, they can go and try out for the high school team. So it's rare, but you've got like eighth graders on JV baseball. You've got eighth graders on JV lacrosse. So those Arlington schools sometimes in all their sports, most not like basketball and stuff like that, or maybe, but they can get 5-year program players. Like Nate Randall's going. It's just a guy that I got lucky enough to coach. He was a kid that played as an eighth grader. Sammy Kaiser this year at Yorktown played as an eighth grader, and like played significant minutes on the freshman football team. So you've got an extra year of experience of what it's like being in a program. That's super helpful. So we can't do that in Fairfax. And so we got to do the best we can to bridge that gap and go over to the middle school and or maybe make some connections in certain schools with certain teachers and tell me about this kid. How are we doing here? So yeah, middle school outreach, I think if there's been, like you mentioned earlier, that's probably been the biggest adjustment from the two counties is that middle school outreach aspect of it.
Speaking of freshmen, talk about what a fantastic job the freshman staff did this year.
Listen, those stipends. I hope you guys enjoyed those stipends because you earned every single penny of those. 25 kids is listen. The least amount of kids I ever had when I was at Yorktown was 38. So, but look,
Shout out Blevins and Owens, by the way. Shout out.
Yeah,
Blevins.
I was at Kurt Owens, John Blevins, Dan Mesa, Ramin Dash. And I don't mean this because I'm on their podcast or anything like that. That was probably the most important group of people when I first get in the job. The second most important position in your program, in my opinion, is your freshman head football coach. Because the goal of freshman football is, do you want to develop them? Absolutely. And a lot of these kids, especially in this area, some of them, and even in Arlington too, are playing tackle football for the first time. They play flag, and they know what football is. They don't know how to really tackle. They don't know what it's like running in pads or helmets or whatever. So, and while development's really important, the number one important thing you have to do is retention. You have to make it a valuable experience for these freshmen to play in your program, because then not only do most of them come back and want to play again, they get some of their friends to come out and say, look, dude, I know you didn't play this year, but it was so much fun. And we'll be on JV now, like, and like we'll get to play together. The coaches are great. Like that's, what you want out of a freshman program because, again, you want your freshman team competitive. You don't want them to be, in a situation where they're not enjoying it based on the competitiveness. But the thing about this group, and you guys can speak to it, that was probably the tightest group of kids in terms of like just togetherness and how hard they play together and how well they work together that carries over into the building that I've ever seen ever. Like they literally don't hang out with anybody but themselves. And so but that's testament to you guys for what you guys did on the staff and like, and how you guys made that experience so worthwhile for them that, there's at least a dozen of them at every single lift and, coming different stuff and encouraging kids to come do this tryout or, Dash, you and I are in PE class all the time. And, you see kids like, dude, you gotta come out and play. Like, come on, like these guys are great. So, but you guys did a truly fantastic job. And and again, not saying this come on your pod, and I would obviously tell you, I told you guys this first at the end of the season too. Like you guys were huge for what we were able to accomplish this year on that level. So thank you guys, Kurt Owens and John Blevins as well for the unbelievable work you guys did with this group.
John Blevins is a living legend around here.
He really is.
No,
And I don't know if you know this.
He knows
Joe.
everybody.
He does know everybody. He really does.
Everybody, or he knows someone who knows that person.
Yeah.
Never met a stranger.
And I don't know if you know this, but he we had our show, the Friday night, show on NFHS, and kind of a gag at this point for me, Mason and I. If you ever talk to, and there's a good chance Blevins is watching this, he calls NFHS, he calls it the Federation.
It's called the Federation.
So he's always like, I'm going to be watching the game on the Federation tonight. And so that became, now Mason, I call it the Federation.
That might be.
Now you got me saying
I can't. And the best part is I hear him saying that. I hear him
That's
saying
right.
the Federation.
I'll be watching on the Federation.
I'll be
tonight.
watching the Federation, yeah.
We got our Friday night show on the Federation.
On the Federation.
That's cool. That's great.
Good stuff. Hey, buddy. Look, man, you were there. We've talked about this. It's just that kind of just, switching it, and you're about to do it, about to turn it over. We talked about Coach Doc earlier and the guys who've come through, right? Van Acker, I mean, had you take away some of these top seasons, these guys, a lot of these great coaches who come to Woodson, Pannoni, Taylor, Van Acker, Doc, they had their 2-win seasons. They had their 3-win seasons. They had these rough seasons, and then they were able to, kind of have that. So it's there and it's coming, man. Just keep putting in the work.
Baby steps, right, Dash? Baby steps.
Babe,
Baby steps. Get it. I know you have it.
because you are my guy.
I know you have it.
Right here. A groundbreaking new book by Dr. Leo Marvin. I recommend it to everyone out there.
Mashed potatoes and gravy, Marie.
The best part of that is you went, oh yeah, by Leo Marvin.
Dr. Leo Marvin.
Yeah. But shout out
keep
also
doing your
too,
thing.
shout out, I know we mentioned a couple of times, but another key thing too, like Doc, Vossler, Counts, Hicks over at Yorktown, all the guys I had over there, like the coaching community, I think has been, even like Pannoni, a couple times I was talking to him too, like they were super supportive of me throughout this. And I, having those people as, sources of just advance or talk through things and their willingness to kind of share some knowledge with them was also huge. So one also takes time to thank those guys as well. So,
Yeah, and your staff, man. Look. I know you mentioned Logan and Coach Richmond and all those guys. I thought they all worked well together, and it's bringing this young group together.
Yep.
It's kind of fun for Mason and I to kind of watch it and kind of all happen, in real time, and see where you guys go from here, man.
Yeah, for sure. One step at a time.
Well, buddy, I'd like to say I'll see you down the road. But I'll see you very soon. Actually, I'll see you in like 12 hours.
And then you know what he said? He said, "Let's do some good."
All right, gentlemen, let's do some good. Untouchables, which I watched the other day. I watched Young Guns the other
You got
day.
me back on it. That was cool. That little connection. I got to go watch it this weekend. Well,
My wife gave me a hard time. She goes, "Are you watching?" I was like, "I'm watching a Western." Now, here's the problem. You guys tell me. So, Young Guns, it's late. Movies put me to sleep. So I put on Young Guns 2. I love Young Guns 2. And I put it on, and she's like half awake. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm watching a Western. Leave me alone." Okay. And she goes, "That's not a Western. The Brat Pack is in it." And I'm like, "Geez, take it easy." It's a frick. She tried to like take away my man card at that moment. I felt like I was watching a Western. And she kind of looked at the screen, and she's like, "That's not a Western. It's Emilio Estevez." And I'm like, "You know what? Go to sleep. Go to sleep."
You know what the best Western
got La Bamba in there.
Richie Valens.
You know, my dad talks about this sometimes too, because he saw the original one. Star Wars is a great Western. Star Wars is a legit, like the story of it.
The story, it is kind of a Western.
Yeah.
I mean, there's actually Western type scenes in there.
There is, yeah.
When Greedo and Han Solo go at it, that's kind of a Western scene.
Yeah, man.
Right. All right, buddy. Hey, Joe, thanks a lot. Stick around here for a minute after we kind of do our thing here. And we'll probably catch you guys at some camp.
Sure.
Aside from seeing you at work, I'll probably see you at a camp or at a at team camp, maybe 7-on-7, something. One of the things.
One of the things we'll definitely catch up again.
The beauty of Woodson, the most centrally located school in the entire county.
It is. It's a very convenient location.
It's the best location, man. And that's not biased.
It is
the best location.
The place to be.
It's the place to be. All right, hey, we'll see you next time, bud.
See you guys.
All right, take it easy. All right, Mesa. That's the Joe McBride experience right there, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, solid guy. I mean, solid person to begin with, right? I mean, it helps to have a guy like that leading your program. Yeah, I'm glad we were able to get him out there, and everyone can kind of see what everybody else at Woodson kind of saw last year, and
right,
just kind of the person he is, which is, you know, he's a great guy, works hard. I just, you know, I think Woodson's got a really good young coach for the years to come.
And you know what, young guys like that, they don't grow on trees.
No.
I mean, that I'm going to call him Senator Joe McBride.
Yeah,
I can see the man running for office one day. I mean, look, mature beyond his years.
Yeah,
I mean, played the game at a high level. I played quarterback position in college. A good program at Randolph Macon. Comes to Woodson, and I said it. Not an easy program to be at. Not an easy program. You're in a tough conference. You're in it seems like it's a lot of times it's a perpetual rebuild, right? It seems like sometimes, and the man has been a calm and steady presence.
That's the other thing. I think his ability to kind of weather the storm and not. The moment's not being too big for him. So no, we're biased, but I think that Joe's going to be a really good coach for a long time to come. I
think so too. And he knows the area, and that's another thing, coming from North Arlington, right in Yorktown.
Yeah.
He has a feel for the pulse of Northern Virginia.
Yeah.
He's a lifer. You heard him.
Yeah.
Dad's in education. I think mom's in education too.
Yeah, mom's a special ed teacher. Dad's just solid guy though. Solid guy.
He gets it. it. So yeah, buddy. So yeah, man, that's it. A crazy week. Who knows? Maybe this week ends up being another crazy week, and we find out about, like he said, Wakefield. We'll find out about Monday, and then Hayfield. Hopefully, find out by the end of the week. Hopefully, everyone's not losing too much sleep from this. Spring forward. Right, spring forward.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be dark again driving to school. Oh.
It'll be dark in the morning, but you know what? It's gonna be light out. You walk your dog at 8 p.m. It'll still be light out.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody wants light out at night. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I like it being bright in the morning because it's a pain to get up when it's still dark outside.
It's still bright in the morning.
Oh goodness.
You think it's gonna be that dark when you go to? It's not gonna be that dark.
Be dark enough.
Let me ask you this: if you could keep one all year round, which one would you keep?
Oh,
spring ahead, or would you keep the fall back?
Fall back. I'd keep the fall back.
No. This is the one we're about to do is the good one.
Wait, why'd you ask me a question? I tell you my answer, and then you're like, "No, that's the wrong answer."
Because I like arguing.
You can't ask an opinion of somebody. They tell you your opinion, but like, "No, your opinion's wrong." Don't.
Yeah, that's true. Unless you sound like my wife now. I thought you'd agree with me, and then now I'm upset that you're not agreeing with me, actually, quite frankly. But which is the one that Congress was going to vote on and say they were going to go? I think it was spring forward.
No, they're going to get rid of fallback.
They were going to get rid of fallback?
They were going to fall back.
They were going to keep. That's what I said. They were going to keep.
They're going to keep that one. But the problem
is the better one.
But if you get rid of fallback, there are going to be places that are like the western edge of the Eastern time zone, and it's not going to get bright until like 9 in the morning. Like,
Yeah.
yes, that's the issue is when sunrise is going to be like in like the darkest days of
Okay.
early winter is like it'll be 9:30 and the sun will barely be coming up.
Okay, I see. Well, speaking of falling back, people are going to be falling back when they hear who our guest is next week. We got Coach Counts next week.
Coach Count, yeah. We promise this time it will be Coach Counts. We're not lying this time.
Did we say it was Coach Counts last
We did
week?
say it was Coach Counts last
Did we
week.
really? At the end of the Coach Denny interview, we said Coach Counts is coming on this week.
We're like the old Carson show. Sorry, we ran out of time tonight. We're gonna have Telly Savalas come on, but unfortunately we ran out of time. But hopefully, Telly will come on next time with us.
We will have Coach Counts on next week. We promise.
Yeah.
We got an action-packed lineup coming up. And 7-on-7s, don't forget. We got a lot of them coming up. We should have mentioned that in the first half of the show. We talked about it with Joe on the show. You got Aziz bringing back the granddaddy of them all.
You got the one in the two in Prince William between Osborne and Garfield.
Osborne and Garfield.
Those are really big. There's a lot of teams there.
Right, Garfield and Osborne. The Osborne one, yeah. St. James making an appearance, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess your popcorn ready for that one there, buddy.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder if it'll be their national team or the regional team. It's a regional matchup. It's a regional 7-on-7.
It'll be their coaches though, for sure, right? They don't have two different separate coaches, right? They all.
That's true. That's true. So that should be fun. You're going to be there with front row and center, buddy.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, we kind of had a deal. I might come if there's nothing else going on that day. If there's not another 7-on-7 going on that day, then maybe I'll go to that.
I'll believe when I see.
Well, we'll see. That could be a big news. We didn't want to say anything on the show.
Yeah.
Tease it. We teased it with Coach Joe McBride on the show. We teased it.
Yeah.
And we'll wait for the formal announcement later on. We'll see what happens. And like you always say, no one listens to the last 2 minutes of the show anyways. Except the diehards. As you always say, Coach Van Ackert's listening.
Coach Van Ackert does listen to it. Perhaps Mr. Ambrose, Coach Ambrose, maybe he listens to it. I know.
Coach Ambrose, he's busy right now, but he might be.
Coach Aziz, we know Coach Aziz is a big.
Coach Aziz, diehard fan. We just plugged his 7-on-7, and they called it the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah.
In a new location.
New location.
Better venue.
What, Aziz? Oh, I mean, yeah. Oh, you mean like this will be his first one at.
First one at Oakton. He's never had a venue like this, buddy. No. State of the art, creme de la creme at Oakton.
Yeah.
Those fields, nice turf fields.
Multiple turf fields.
Multiple turf. What, 3? 4? 3?
There's 3.
3 nice turf in a nice Bermuda grass field.
Mm-hmm.
I got a nice Casio. I got $3 and a hell of a nice watch. All right. Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah, I got that. I just yeah.
All right. And as we are recording this right now, Max Crosby traded to the Baltimore Ravens
for 2 first-round picks.
So now I'm going to get off and talk to my son about this, and not know whether to be happy or upset. I'll figure that out.
I mean, 2 first-round picks. I mean, you can do a lot with those picks.
I know. I have a jersey. I have a thing on the wall down here for Max. He'll always be a Raider, though, right? Mad Max. He'll always be a Raider. Kind of like Khalil Mack is always a Raider.
You never know, right? He might come back.
Well, maybe. We'll see. He's already beat up, though, man. He's got a lot of miles on him.
How many years?
Any games? Your first however many, I mean, I know he got put on the shelf his last 2 games this year. The dude, he's been a freaking iron horse.
How many years? How many years does he have left on his contract?
He just re-signed a new contract last year.
So he's got a couple years on it. Okay.
So I mean, but his body is beat up. So 2 number ones is a steal.
Yeah.
I gotta go break this down now.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Well, look, bud, that's been fun, and can't wait to talk to Coach McBride about this show when we see him at work next week.
Yeah.
We can break it all down: the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and that's all she wrote for today, right? Dash and Dan, all Hitches. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.